Hello, everyone. Welcome to the School of Languages Live podcast. This is an exciting day considering this is our first ever episode. This platform is the go to place for all insightful discussions. And on today's podcast, on today's episode, we have an amazing thing here for you. We are here to discuss our experience in the School of Languages. A lot of us have insightful takes. We have been through a lot with this place, and we are here to share. I'm going to give the panelists the opportunity to introduce themselves and we get right into the conversation.
Oh, hi. So I'm Dorcas, former in a level 300 student reading political science in Chinese, and I am representing the Chinese session.
All right, I'm also Gabriel Tekument, level 300 linguistics and French student, and I'm representing the linguistics faculty here. And it's a pleasure to be here as well.
Hi, my name is Chantel Daiki Lassie. I am a level 400 student studying French and Sociology, and I'm representing the French department. Let's say that here.
And I am Jasmine, your host, representing from the English department. For some of us, getting admission and seeing the School of Languages on our admission sheet was honestly quite shocking. I was honestly really surprised. And so far, I've heard so many mixed reactions from people in my department, hearing their conversations. Some of them couldn't sleep that whole night. But anyways, let's listen to some of our panelists on their experience of getting admission into the School of Languages. So, Dorcas, tell us a little about that.
Okay, so for me, I would say it was, should I say funny?
Can you imagine?
Yes, because I don't know. For me personally, I wanted the course for Chinese.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted it. So when I woke up that day and I saw that I had been admitted into Legon, I was like, Sandra, that's my elder sister.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Sandra, check if I had Chinese.
So you're actually waiting to get Chinese?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
But you do have bases in Chinese.
No, at that time I was just watching movies.
Because the Chinese.
And then I thought I knew it all, So I'm like, check if I had Chinese. And she said, for me, I'm seeing something there, Chinese. I don't know if you're going to offer it, but then, so me personally, I was happy when I saw that, it was there on my admission paper. I was going to offer Chinese. I mean,
I feel like you're one of the very few people that were excited to have Chinese.
yes,
because
I fell in love with the language.
Can you imagine?
So yes.
But the little I know about Chinese, you don't have the Roman letters. So when you like bothered about the fact that you can't even read in like it's giving the symbols and all that.
I knew that people learn Chinese. And if they've been able to do it, why not?
Wow, that's really exciting. Chantal, let's hear you.
My case is very different,
Yeah.
extremely different.
Can you
So
imagine?
I'm doing French, and I started doing French when I was in nursery.
Okay.
Nursery too. So it's been with me all through. And my parents actually forced me to go in for
Okay.
French. And I'm like, oh, well, it's been with me. It's not a foreign thing. So I took it, applied for it, and then I got it. So I wasn't shocked. I wasn't scared. I was like, okay, we've come back here.
So have you always thrived in French, doing it in SHS, JHS?
Yeah, actually. Not to brag.
And the
but-
sharks.
Not to brag, but I was the best French student I think,
Oh
in high
wow.
school. And
We have amazing people in our department, honestly.
Wow.
Honestly.
But university humbled me.
Wow, I can
Real quick,
imagine.
real quick.
It will do.
You go, I
Yeah.
knew. I knew.
That was me. That was me in French.
So so it was a good experience for you.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing. Gabi.
Okay, for me, I've always been passionate about language, but I didn't want to further my studies in language.
Yeah.
I went on to read journalism here at the University
Mhm.
of Ghana, but after I bought the forms, that's when I got to know that
There was-
that was a master's course. That
Yeah.
was communication studies. So I was so disappointed, and so I had to kind of choose my electives. I did
Yes.
I did French also. I've been, I won't say a French enthusiast because let me say my JHS French teacher used to beat me a lot. So I used to zoom into French. I started learning French because I was scared he would beat me all the time.
Can you
So
imagine?
that was when. So when I went to SHS, it was like I was the boss today.
Ah.
I was like, oh, then I didn't want to continue. So after the Legon disappointment, I was like, look,
Hey.
let me choose
The-
the electives I did. So I chose French, sociology, and linguistics, and God me so good. I
That's
had it.
actually
So I was
good.
like, come on, what's linguistics? I don't know what this is about.
Yes.
I would have just
Yeah.
dropped it, but here I am with linguistics, loving it already. So that was my journey here. with
That's
language.
really cool. So for me, I actually didn't choose any of these things. In SHS, I was quite good at English. I'm in the English department, I was told I'm an English person. I wanted to prove everybody wrong. I chose law. Legon bounced me. I went on my form and I'm seeing English. I'm like, everybody has won. My haters have won and I'm doing English. So I got English and Kiswahili. It's the Kiswahili that was really interesting. So every time someone asks me, what do? I tell them, oh, psychology and English. I leave the Kiswahili. It wasn't very attractive to me. But I came here, I fell in love with it. It was really lovely. Like I've gone to love it. I wish I could even keep Kiswahili, Bibi Sarah, Bibi Ruth. They made the experience really lovely. I wish I hadn't dropped it, but yeah, so that was my experience. I was very sad, I can't lie. But I found a home in the School of Languages, and I'm sure we all have to.
But honestly, with your Kiswahili, I don't know why Legon has. They have a thing of giving people languages you've never heard about.
Yes.
Because I mean, I got here people are studying Russian and Chinese. I'm like,
Spanish.
you don't have any basis. Like, if it's French, everybody does bonjour monsieur, bonjour monsieur. But like Kiswahili,
Initially, when I also saw the languages that were studied here, I thought Korean was part.
Yeah.
I thought Korean was part because why are you studying everything and then leaving Korean out? But later I found out that they do that
Yeah.
as a separate
side
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do an African language. I felt like if I was going to do a language, at least the ones that will make me travel, I could go and live there. Kiswahili, where was I
You
going?
say they go Tanzania.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, but there's money in it. There's money in these courses. So, like, if people hold it tight. So, those who have gotten the School of Language, the freshers that have come, you should be excited. Like,
I know
there's a
that.
whole world for you now that is open. Yes. So, we know how languages are viewed in Ghana. People don't really respect it. They will grow to respect it now that we are all here.
You get.
But what do you think what was the experience like when people's reactions? How were your parents reacting? Your SHS is calling you. What did you get? They are hoping they'll give you some good cause. Like, how was it like?
Okay, so for me, when my SHS mates got to know that I study Chinese, some weren't surprised.
Yeah.
And I was getting comments like, hey, into always your Chinese, yeah, how they are by university. Hey, so you watch Chinese movies, huh? Now you're studying it. And then I was also getting reactions like, what are you going to use Chinese for? Like, what are you going to use it for? And you know, sometimes comments like this, they get you.
Yes.
They really get you like, why? Don't I know what I want? Why am I studying Chinese? And you start questioning yourself. But then later I found out that if I put my mind to it, I can do it.
Yeah.
It's not what they are saying. Yeah, so the reactions for the reactions, they were a lot. I mean, people were like, for political science and linguistics, that was in level 100 when I had political science, linguistics, and Chinese. They're like, okay, then I think you should drop the Chinese. But then I've come to the school and I'm hearing Chinese,
Yes.
Chinese, you make a lot of money.
Yes.
But you two are telling me to drop it. Meanwhile, linguistics, I didn't really know. Well, what are some of the because I don't know. When I came initially, I didn't know what I was going to use linguistics.
You know, same here. I also had linguistics for my first. I had sociology, French, linguistics, and I'm like, I didn't even want that combination. I wanted economics,
Yeah.
French, and geography. And they gave me only French out of the lot. I'm like, okay, cool. I can manage with French, but linguistics.
Language
I wonder how you're doing it.
a scientific study of language.
Yeah.
That means you can take a language and assess it critically. We literally describe the language, not necessarily imposing our view.
Yeah.
We describe it as it is for the people. You know, it's like we are preserving the language for people. There are numerous job opportunities.
Yeah. So those were the reactions and all of that. But then I think I didn't listen. For those
That's
I was
great.
supposed to listen to, I did. And those I didn't I wasn't supposed to listen to, I did not.
I feel like most of these people are speaking from a place they are not very enlightened about the importance of you know Ghana. We still have that backward. We are not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, engineer. There's not much you can do. But I think we can do better as people to really educate them on like the importance of these things. Because personally, I didn't know that these things were very important, and so I came here. And that's one thing I think the University of Ghana is doing very well. They are doing really well in like getting you to understand the importance of these things.
Yeah.
And to be honest, a lot of people are doing really great things. Like really with the language, they are doing amazing things. It's the only place that can, I think it's one of the things that can take you far. Different places you never thought you would go because you are doing this specific thing.
Yeah.
So Chantel, tell us how yours was.
So, like I said, I've been doing French since I could
Yeah.
walk. So, so when I got French, people weren't really surprised. My SHS friends were like, "It's not surprising, like, because you were doing French and you were doing well." I used to teach them sometimes in class, so it wasn't really shocking. My parents were excited because that's what they wanted me to do. So it was expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was expected. So it was calm.
That's great.
Mhm,
Yes, Gabby.
Okay, so for me, I had a privilege to attend a very good college.
Okay.
So we were being instilled with the French to learn it. It will surprise you that we learned French more than maths and science.
Wow.
Because our teacher, you
Do a
beat
shout
you
out.
front of
What's
you.
Yeah,
good?
French teachers are like that. French
But no, because
teachers
and
are like
it
that.
got to a point we were so good in the French that he would just beat you with a mistake. So you can get 97% over 100. He's not looking at the 97.
Yeah,
He's looking at
3%
three
is
is
not.
made.
made-
Oh yes.
Hey, those
Accent grab,
accents.
come on.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Like you feel it. So I went to SHS because I didn't like I didn't want to pursue science. I just wanted to stick with language. So SHS kind of gave me the confidence because I was like the superior in French. I was like,
Yay,
whoa, you
shucks,
guys don't know.
shucks.
Oh, so it was like that gave me an edge. But notwithstanding, I didn't want to continue with the language thing. So I remember telling my mother that Legon doesn't read communication studies as a undergraduate
Yeah.
or master. So I want to go to GIJ, and he was, she was like, but you can't speak French that much. I kind of like, oh, I can speak because I've done it in SHS. And she was like, I remember telling me, "Dem, I won't bother." You come to and I was just wondering that what am I coming to do with sociology, French linguistics? At least if I go to GIG,
Yeah.
I know that I have a background in journalism.
Mm.
But I always say that it would have paid me if I ended up in
GIG.
GIG
Yeah.
because I came to the and I've learned the essence of French. Indeed, I loved it, but I didn't want to pursue it as a career. And now I would just go all in for it due to the importance I've seen in it, and also with linguistics also. So I will entreat everybody not to get that perception. Obey it. When you're reading
Yes,
language,
obey a
people think, "Yeah, I can obey
teacher."
a teacher." But I can give you a
Yeah.
short list of friends I know who are doing very well with French. They are all like different parts of the world doing French
Yes.
and linguistics as well. So if you are watching us, listening to us, I will urge you to venture into it, and you wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, it seems like all of us are thinking about career stuff. Me, I was thinking about marriage.
Hey.
That if I learn Kiswahili, like I went to do my research, like, oh, what can I do with Kiswahili? Then I realized that if I go to Tanzania, I can find a Kiswahili, like
A
a
husband.
Swahili, yeah,
Fast.
like I've opened my market a little. So like that's something. So there's always a benefit. Maybe it's not work, but then it's marriage. You never know. So I think that one thing that's run through is the expectation we had for the languages. I actually want to hear you. What were the preconceived notions? What did you expect? What was your idea before you actually came, and how different was it from when you like were exposed to it firsthand?
Yeah, so for me, I think I'm starting on my sentences before.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yes, because it's me. Yeah, so when like I said,
Yeah.
I started picking up from movies. Yes.
Mhm.
And then I felt like, hey, I can speak. Because I went to school and if I say ni hao to my friends, I was like, hey, look at you're learning Chinese. But then I know deep down that so I when I came to the university, my expectations were, let's say by the end of level 100, level 200 first semester, is I can rattle a little.
Mhm.
But Charlie,
Reality setting.
you know, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You are saying, Chinese is some way. It has tones
Yeah.
that you want to say 10, which is sure, and then you go and say
Ish.
sure, and it's wrong.
Could be something very different.
So if you don't know the
Sure.
tones, so you realize that you think you can rattle. That was my expectation. But then you go and stand in front of a Chinese man and you say ni hao. Like ni hao,
Hey.
what's ni hao?
Hmm.
It sounds like ni hao, but the tone is wrong, which means you are saying something different. So my expectations were very high, like, oh, let's say from level 100 to level 200, I can speak. But then I realized that you can never underestimate a
Yeah.
language. It's not your language, so you have to put in more, and then it will take time.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yes, that's one thing. It will take time. You'd have to like persevere, learn very hard, and then take advice. Because let's say me, if I came and then I didn't take advice from people, I think I wouldn't be like how I am today,
Yeah.
like be performing like how I am performing today. So yeah, the expectations were very high, but then life will hit you hard.
So
Luck was,
did you ever have Duolingo on your phone?
yeah, I had Duolingo.
I think every language student
Yes.
had Duolingo at
Yes,
some point.
I had Duolingo and I was like practicing every time. So when I go for lectures and then the lecturer is now teaching Dai Jian, I'm like, I know this already. I'm like, I know this already. Yeah, I have Duolingo, I have another teacher. So, yes, I think those apps help. They are very helpful. For Chinese students, we have another app that we use, which is
Mhm.
Pleco. It's like a dictionary.
Okay.
So, you search up words you don't understand and all that. They're all very
So I can imagine some people who are seeing Chinese on the admission letter, they might be scared,
Confused.
confused. At least you had a passion for it, but what will you tell them?
don't like nothing is too difficult.
Yeah.
And if you put your mind to something, that's what I always tell myself. Like, if you put your mind to something, you can do it.
Yeah.
Because since you've put your mind to it, you know that, oh, there's something for me to finish.
Yeah.
Right? So don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's a language you learn. Who knew that when I was coming to the university for political science, I thought government, SHS.
Yes.
I've studied government. But then I come and you see that Dr. Sasanti is hitting you with words you don't understand. And then, in all that, you have to sit, read, learn, study, ask questions, right? Nothing is too difficult.
Sure.
You just need to follow instructions.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is it. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Languages are sometimes very complicated,
Yeah.
but you'll be fine.
So okay, that's good enough for them, so that they will calm their
Yes,
tempers.
calm
Yes.
down.
Chantel, let's hear you. What were your expectations?
So when I got French, a lot of people told me that if you are doing French, you can only be a teacher or an interpreter. And I don't like interpreting. I don't like translation. I I didn't want to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't have patience to teach people.
Right?
So it was a lot for me. I'm like, so does it mean that the fact that I'm good in French, I'm going to become a teacher?
Mhm.
And I'm like, being a teacher is not bad, but I don't have patience for
Yeah.
it. So I'll not enjoy what I'm doing. So I went back, I went to read, like he said, I went to read around like jobs that you can use French for. And I found that I can be you having a second language, you are always at an advantage
Yeah.
as compared to people who have only one language. And if you look at the United Nations, French is one of the most recognized languages. So I'm like, oh, okay. So no matter what other job I go into, I can always use French in that regard. So I'm doing sociology. I want to be a policy analyst. And I realized that, okay, so with drawing policies, you have the language. You can easily change your documents from one language to another. You can easily, when you go to meetings, you can speak, have the right diction. So for me, I had to take a step back to actually read more around it, because people telling you you're going to become a teacher and you
It's
not having a
not-
passion
yes.
for it was crazy.
I think that's what bothers a lot of people when they come in.
Yeah.
And then when they come, they meet something very different. So at least,
Yeah, actually.
So Gabi.
Okay, for me, my expectations were high because I thought that I had the upper hand. But
So
at
humble
some
you.
point, I think that I've been so damned that I didn't think that university accept people from francophones and from other countries. My mind didn't come to that. I thought that, oh, look, SSI beat them. So I'm just going to continue here at the university. So they rather
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
First language speakers, you can't compete.
So because
Yeah.
mine was like, I thought that university they are coming to school feed you for you to know, and you come and replicate what you learned. But no, they are throwing the challenges. And when you go to class, come on, francophones can really talk. And I'll be like, so my friends usually text me and say, hey Gabby, then you are overriding them though. You are like showing your progress. I'm like, whoa. I rather lash me in the face because I was so good in French at high school. I remember we even went for a French quiz and we met people. So I was really good then because I was the main man. It always pushed me to do it, but I just didn't want to continue.
Yeah.
So when I had no choice than to do some of my electives, I didn't exit. I was like, whoa, let me come. I'll always have the upper hand because I thought that look, people will be new to it and I have the experience already. Not knowing that they are accepting people to come and lash us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's quite of an iron because where appearance differs from reality. But it means also good. It has shown me the challenge to always learn. I have Duolingo on my phone. I always tell my colleagues I speak Duolingo French. That's the French I speak. It has helped me a lot. It has helped me a lot. It has added to my my vocabulary.
Yeah.
My more.
Yes.
More, yeah. So yeah, it's doing good already.
Yeah. To add to what he said here, as a French student, when I entered the class, I thought I knew the language. And then you get there and you hear people speak, and you're like, yeah, and these people are coming to read. Like, people will speak and they'll ask the lecturer questions in French. And the lecturer will respond, and you're like, this is not the same French we are all doing.
Yes.
So what's going on?
Yes.
So I remember I could go to class and come out. I'm like, I'm just happy I went for class because I don't understand anything. But the fact that I actually made an effort to go to class, and so that actually made me sit up. Because now you realize that your colleagues, it's like they took the best from every school.
Yes.
So you are meeting with the best of the best. So now you have to put in a lot of work. And language, you can easily lose language if you
Yeah,
don't practice
yeah.
it.
Sure.
Yes.
So aside the reading, you need to practice. Get somebody who speaks the language with you. Practice, no matter how bad you are at speaking it. Just try. So that's what I did. I got people who spoke French, and I'll go. I'm like, today you're speaking French, and I'll speak some French, and they'll laugh at me, and I'm like, I'll take it. I'm a hard girl. I'll take it. So that's one thing. That's one of the things I went through.
Yeah, I think what you guys have brought my attention to is the fact that it doesn't just like what you get from studying languages does not just remain within the school of language. It trickles down into other areas.
Exactly.
I noticed that a lot of my friends who are also in the school of language, they are thriving with the other courses. I think the learning, it gives you the sense of discipline. You're able to compete in different ways. It like it gives you that sense of discipline, being able to practice constantly over something. And languages, in my opinion, opens up your mind. It brings up a whole different world you didn't even realize, and that opens your mind to even receive the other things you learned. So I think it's a very subconscious benefit to learning languages. Yes, exactly. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, and to add up what you said, it kind of gives you an edge in numerous fields. I remember I went to cover a game here at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. You know, we are surrounded by francophone countries, and so it was African tournament. So we had these francophones coming in, media houses, the Joy, the Cities, and New Radio University. So it was like we were communicating to them, and we were only stuck with French.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I can do this.
Your time to shine.
You can do this.
I just stood in there. Then that's when I realized I can.
Yes.
I would say, I was like, hey, is this me doing this? So I would kind of interview them and translate it for them. It was like I was doing matter. So after that, I was like, whoa, I did this for joy. So it's kind of help you because you understand it. Anyway, when it matters most, you'll be able to.
And it seems like it always comes. You always find yourself in a situation where you need that. Like the exposure is really amazing. So we share some of our exciting experiences. It seems that School of Languages is a place for fun, excitement, and elevation. But we know that nothing comes easy, and we've all experienced really like hardships. Like it has really shown us sometimes. Because Miss honestly, I've seen Shege in the School of Languages. Honestly, and so like I want us to have that conversation. Tell us about your challenges, some of the difficulties you've had.
Challenge.
Yeah.
I like us the challenge.
You know, challenges.
Yeah.
Hey, they're out.
Reminisce.
You know, sometimes when people see how, let me say, good you are, they'll be like, oh, as for this person, everything is okay with them. But I tell you, it's not easy. You know, when you come to like the Chinese department, we write characters. There's nothing like A, B, C, D. You're writing the character and you add a dot, a full stop. It is wrong. Like everything is wrong. So you realize that sometimes recognizing characters is actually sometimes very difficult because some of the characters look alike, and then let's say one character can have like different meanings. So these are some of the things that you face. Like, didn't I do it correct?
Right.
Like correctly? Why are you telling me it's wrong? And then sometimes you'll be very frustrated, like, what's going on? I'm trying my best. Sometimes you go, the lecturer says, repeat this after me. Sometimes some of them don't have that patience.
Yeah.
But it's with every person. Some of them don't have that patience. When you say something and they say something and you're supposed to repeat and you say it wrongly, it's like, can't you hear me?
Yeah.
You know how the thing is.
Yeah.
Yes, those are some of the challenges you face in like our departments like Chinese. In the study of Chinese, you face a lot of things like that. Like writing characters, speaking, you are saying the wrong thing. Someone is laughing at you. Criticisms, why are you even studying this? They are all like discouragement. Sometimes you feel like, should I just stop, drop it, or something? You know, some people, they actually do learn the language, but then everybody and then that pace of picking up. So you are learning, I'm also learning, but then you are picking it up, I can't. And then sometimes they feel like, I want to stop. They don't get the motivation. They're not getting any inspiration. There's nobody telling them that, oh, it's going to be fine. I think it's everywhere, like studying languages. It's with all the other departments because, like I said earlier, it's not your language. So
Yeah.
so picking it up would be very difficult in the beginning. You see a character and you're like, hey, what is this? Then they give you an assignment. Everything is in characters. Hey, what was right?
So what do you advise for the
So-
freshers?
Okay, so my advice to the level hundreds, or let me say the freshers, is you will be discouraged, especially the male students. Some of your friends are going to be like, you won't use Chinese for anything. Wasn't they use Chinese? Wasn't you use
Yeah.
Chinese? I don't know if I'm even getting it right. Yeah, why you be baby? Like Chinese, what are you? Yes, a lot of times we realize that I have come to realize that the boys are the ones who really drop the course
Yeah.
because they feel like their friends laugh at them. Yes, so when it happens like that, Chinese is a course that you can get your A's. As far as you are sitting down and then you are studying, you are going to get your A's. You don't need anyone to tell you that do it, don't do it, right? You need to like work very hard, put in your all. If you don't want to speak it, even if you don't want to speak it, you let's say for academic purposes, so that your GPA would
Yeah. Very important.
or else you see that a course that you could easily get an A would you now be getting F. You would have to write a research and all that. And all this I'm saying, what I am basing on is don't be discouraged. Okay, don't be discouraged. It will get hard sometimes, but you'd have to put in your all. And one thing, this is an advice that when you are learning, when you are studying, not just for Chinese, but then every other course, you should pray. I mean,
Yes,
whether
very
you're a
important.
Muslim or a traditionalist or a Christian, pray. Add that. I think it really helps. Like for me, it helped me. So you'd have to do that. And then always obey instructions from your lecturers, your mentors, and all that. Listen. Listening is very good. Listen to people who give you advice, and then I think you are good to go.
Yeah. And so your challenges and what would you tell freshers and how to combat it? Yeah.
My challenge. Okay, I thought French was going to do me nice. I really thought. But when I entered the university, aside being in a classroom with a lot of people who already speak the language, you get some oral exams and you just go blank. Like so blank. And you cannot even remember the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you should tell the lecturer that please imagine I'm putting like air quotes around the word you say in English. So it was a bit crazy. And also when you have assignments and you're supposed to type in French, the accent, we have accent, c'est dit, accent, chapeau, accent grave.
Give it to us.
So if you write a word like you were saying without your accent, it's wrong. Doesn't mean anything. If you don't get the pronunciation of the word right, doesn't mean anything. So those are the kind of things that made me sit back and actually like wonder if I chose the right course. Yeah, little things. For me, it wasn't anything like major that popped up, but there were little things. Being in a class with people who speak like very good French, and some of your lecturers are going to come for your life. That one is a fact. They will say that it's trying to help you, but some people I reserve my comment because they will make your GPA die.
Shaky.
Yeah, not shaky, die. It'll just go down. And see, you need to pray. You need to pray for your lecturer. That one is a serious thing here. So those are some of the little things that I faced. But I mean, we are still going. We don't have a choice now. 400. I mean, just finish with it.
You tried. You've come far.
I've come far.
We need to
I've cried.
reward you.
I've cried. Hey,
Sleepless nights.
sis,
It's been a lot. I'm
it's
sure.
been crazy. It's been crazy.
The linguistics, the French.
Speaking of challenges, there are always challenges.
Yeah.
Challenges are always there. But one thing I've realized is that obstacles makes you strong. It makes you resilient. It makes you know that look, I've overcome this, and it's become all joyous together. Because I came to the University of Ghana to come and read French with huge expectations. And it seems the course shall is slashing. Always, I think, and I'm a type of person. I do a whole lot of extracurricular activities. I can weekends. Sometimes it's kind of a personal problem. You are doing whole lot of things aside.
Yeah.
Even as we are here, we are shooting content.
Right.
My colleagues are learning.
Right,
right.
Coming from here, I
Exam is
did
in the
subjects.
corner.
So it's like you are doing a whole lot of
Yeah.
things aside,
Yeah.
academic. But one thing I always say is that it makes you tougher. I see to them to be, overcoming it. I have to empower myself
Yeah.
to always. I have to force my way to learn. So sometimes, one of the major obstacles I've had is you try to comprehend the language when it's being thrown at you.
Yeah.
I always say it's like a gun. They don't fire a gun at you. And, when they speak it, you have to take time and comprehend it
Yeah.
one by one. You have to, some of the whole statement you get it. You just take it
Word by
comprehend.
word.
You can only maybe hear my
Right.
Come on, you know the video, but it always makes you to learn. You're always learning. It's not like you're not catching up. So, but sometimes you can know that. Oh, sometimes when they speak and you can hear, like you can comprehend, like we out of it. You know that. Oh, I'm doing some work.
Right.
Yes.
So we are still going. It's not easy. We are still going. We are still trying to catch up. We are still trying to adapt. to
Yeah.
them because we have to. Because it's the challenge to myself personally that I have to grasp the French after my 4 years tenure, or perhaps 5 years tenure.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
I like the amen. Amen.
it's very
Yeah.
true. So it's like one thing I would say is that it's not easy. I think
Yeah.
if I say it's easy, then I'm lying. But I have to, after my tenure here at the university, I have to say that look, I did it.
You did.
Yeah, and that's my hallmark.
Okay.
And you will. You really will.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was in level 300, we had a French exam, and we were supposed to read a book. It was French literature,
Yeah.
and I'm not a literature person. I like reading, but
Yeah.
I'm not a literature person. And I asked my friend, I was like, "Madam, sit down. Tell me everything you've learned." And then she said it in English. I'm like, "Okay, now translate it to French."
Wow.
Like a few minutes to the paper. I think it was a few minutes to the paper. So after she was done, we had to write at different places. So she went to her venue, I went to my venue. I sat down and it was online on site. Sat down, took my, prayed, did everything, come to start. Now I start and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this? I didn't, and it was supposed to, I think it was supposed to summarize a story or something.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't even know what the story is about. I'm so confused. And in grade exam, people give you pressure.
Yes.
And somebody was just typing. She's like, oh shit. I'm like,
Hey, what's happening?
sis, calm down. And somebody also typing, you delete it. And you can see people writing like pages.
Where are you
And I
doing
had-
the same class?
I was like, I had written.
You think there's
like,
some extra classes they went to
yes.
do?
And I had only like 2 sentences. And I'm like, God, I'm going to fail this paper. And I know I'm going to fail and I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, just watch yourself failing. So, I mean, I did what I could.
You did
Got
your
up,
best.
went to my room. I said, Mommy, I'm going to fail this
did
paper.
your best.
If you see the F, please don't do anything to me. And she was like, why would you say that? I'm like, I know what I wrote.
Yeah.
But miraculously, somehow, I think it came and I had like a B plus. And when it came out, I put the phone
God
down.
is good.
And my roommates were in the room. I started jumping. I was shouting. I was like, you guys. So
God
it
has
was
done
crazy.
something.
Hey,
Yes.
I've cried.
Can
Uni has not been
imagine.
easy.
I can
Crazy.
imagine. For me, I'm in the English department.
Mm.
We all came, we spoke in English our whole life. We all did English. So we came with an expectation, oh, it's easy.
Mhm.
And so I come and then we don't say something like S. We say the frictionless continuous.
Hey.
Like there's like you understand? So it really tests you. Like you are going to question everything. I think it's with every language. You think you come French, like you are the sharks. You come and you're meeting people that are speaking, you are wondering. So it's really, really, really good. One thing I've noticed you guys are saying is the lecturers. One thing the freshers is for the freshers to know. Lincoln lecturers expect perfection. Like a lot of the things they are going to, the pressure they are putting on you, how strict they are, every day they are coming to class because they expect perfection from you. Legon is a trailblazer when it comes to languages. We are represented across the world. So we do a lot. So a lot is expected of you in terms of the lectures. So like appreciate them, appreciate the stress they are putting you because they know. They know how to get you there. So it's really important. We've shared our challenges. Most of them are telling you discipline is important, praying. And I think this will be very interesting if people start learning to pray in their languages they are studying. If you learn French, pray in French, like trying.
To add up to what you said about the lectures, some lectures will know what you are doing, but
Yes.
they don't care, irrespective of what
Exactly.
you do. They expect you to deliver.
Yes.
Imagine I went for the recycling, and as soon as I came, I went to meet the lecturer because when I descend, I should come and write the paper. And they was expecting me to write the following day. I was like, whoa, 2 weeks.
There's no excuse.
I think sometimes that helps. You know, when you know that someone is expecting something from you, it pushes you.
Irrespective of what you do, they expect you to
Exactly,
Yes,
you
it
will.
pushes you. I think sometimes it's the best.
Shout out to the lecturers, so
You know, just yesterday in our French class, we were doing a whole like debate about like any topic.
Yeah.
And God be so good. I was just going crazy in the class.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was
Fresh
going to
out.
say. And people, you tend to know that this guy can speak.
Mhm.
You were all like doing well in the lab. Like, whoa. And you got to answer my praise. I didn't present. I was like, this like, they don't care where you have been. They don't care.
They do.
Yes,
Sometimes the expectation.
yeah, and sometimes it's good because it helps you to do it out, do yourself, know that you can really do this.
The same thing happened to me at our department here when I was going to do my internship, and then I had to go for an interview. You know, I mean, I'm just
You're just a
learning.
girl.
You're just a
I'm just a
girl.
girl. Yeah, and then everybody goes, they come and like, how did it go? Then they tell me, oh, I couldn't speak everything Chinese, so I added English. It was my turn. I went to say, then she's like, you have to speak Chinese. Because you have to speak. I'm like, are we all not in the same level? Me. And then she starts the question, she asks the question, and I'm like, okay, fine, I understand the question. Now how to answer is the question.
Right?
And then she's like, no, as for you have to use Chinese. I'm like, whoa. So when I went back, I went to look up the questions. I'm like, okay, so this way. So sometimes it pushes you to
Yeah.
just like work harder. Yes, I think sometimes it's very
Yes, doctor is saying something really important. You're talking about how the expectation to do what really pushes you. I think when people come from SHS, they have this idea that their lecturers are teachers who will beat them in sound or fail them. But like they're your friends.
Yeah.
They've been students, they've been teaching for a very long time, they know you. So when you come and you're struggling, go to them. They give you like the best resources. They are the best people to help you. It's not SHS that you can't call your lecturer. Call her, madam, please. I'm reading this word. Where is it from? I do it well. Sometimes they are very busy, but like if you try your best, it really helps. Yeah.
To add to what you're saying, go for tutorials.
Yes.
Go for
I did not like
Yes.
tutorials since like level 100. I think I went for tutorials like twice.
Most don't even know that tutorials is a thing when you come.
Yeah. But then that's where you get the opportunity to ask your
One-on-one.
questions with your TA, one-on-one questions, things you don't understand that you think if you go to the lecturer, it will be beneath him. Go to your TA. It's very, very
Yeah.
important. If your TA is not doing a good job, then you go to your lecturer. So,
That's true. And I think it's okay to struggle. When you come, if something is new to you, like struggle to the top. Keep trying and keep trying, and you'll get there.
Yeah, Emma, before you conclude, I want to add this about the stereotypes about linguistics.
Very important.
No, credit hard.
I know. I don't
What is high?
Right.
I always say linguistics has helped me a lot. So, some people, a lot of people tell me that they like how I speak.
Yeah.
Linguistics knowledge.
Wow.
Because I won't say academics, I would say academics.
Academics.
I would say ranked.
Rank.
Okay. So that's linguistic knowledge.
It puts
They-
you
they
ahead.
like how I speak. And this linguistic, but when you always say they are, should I say ignorant? When you
Yeah.
don't know something, just
Yeah.
to
Just
paint a bad picture about it. So it's a very interesting course and it has helped me a lot. I was telling my colleagues already in university that if I were to be the manager, if you are coming to be a news anchor, you have to have a linguistic knowledge because people say news, but me doing linguistics, I'll say news.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
so it's very all equally important. So that's what linguistic knowledge does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doing a bit of
That's what pressure he's giving us.
Right.
I'll be coming for stage.
Right.
For extra class.
So we promised to bring an insightful conversation. We promised to give you all the knowledge, how to elevate, educate the School of Languages. For those of you now coming, this is the School of Languages live podcast where we'll have all sorts of discussions like this. We are glad you tuned in and stayed with us till the end of this discussion, and we hope to see you in the next podcast. So we can't leave you without saying goodbye in the languages we are studying. And because I'm in the English department, I will say goodbye. Etymology from God be with you.
Hey.
Yes, look at us.
Okay, so 再见，下次见。
My goodness. Okay, au revoir. À la prochaine. Bisous.
All right, so for me, since I scientifically study language, I'm going to say goodbye in three languages.
Yeah.
Okay. So in French, it's au revoir.
Uh-huh.
Is goodbye. And in P, it is Bye bye.
Bye.